Welcome to Harmonized. I am your host, Gigi Naval, integrative and functional registered dietitian nutritionist, here to help you harmonize your gut and hormone health for improved metabolic health. We are on my gut health series, and what word did I mention in last week's episode to represent balance in our gut community? What is that word? That means your gut community is in balance, meaning your commensal bacteria or your beneficial bacteria is diverse. It's at a good amount. You have just the right amount of fungus, viruses, archaea, and there's some opportunistic bacteria. What is that name? Well, if you thought homeostasis, no, that's not correct. I actually thought that was the correct word for a balanced gut community, but it's not. If you remembered and you thought eubiosis, E-U-B-I-O-S-I-S, then guess what? You are correct. That is what we want. That is what we are always aiming for, is that balance between the beneficial bacteria and still having some viruses, some fungi, and opportunistic. Not necessarily is that considered beneficial, but it's there, and it's fine when it is in a good ratio against each other. So then, this week, I am talking about what the opposite is of balance in the gut community. So we are talking about an imbalance. And that word kind of sounds like eubiosis, but we have a dys at the beginning. Dysbiosis, meaning imbalance. So then we say gut dysbiosis for an imbalanced gut community. So it can manifest itself in different ways. You could have way more of the opportunistic bacteria, certain species of that could be elevated, or you could have the beneficial bacteria across the board decreased, or the diversity or the different types of good bacteria are decreased. And you want your beneficial bacteria to be diverse as much as possible. Otherwise, if you don't have all of the good bacteria present in the amounts that it should be, then your body will be missing out on those particular health benefits. For example, Akkermansia muciniphila, that's a huge one that has been getting a lot of attention lately. That one is so important to prevent us from having insulin resistance and then that turning into diabetes type 2 and then to other metabolic conditions. Okay, so you want to have just the right amount of that. Now, an example of having more of your opportunistic bacteria could be bacillus or streptococcus or staphylococcus. And when those are elevated, and I'm just naming a few, okay, a few species that is within the phyla or the families of the bacteria. So if we have too much of those, boy, some people can experience really horrendous bloating, gas, just major discomfort. And that can be elevated, but then some people don't experience the symptoms. But when any of this is out of balance, whether the good is out of balance or the opportunistic is out of balance, that creates inflammation in the gut community. And if we don't do anything about that, the inflammation in our gut community can affect the lining of our GI tract, and it can become permeable. And then anything that is undigested food, toxins that are in the gut community that are supposed to go out of our body, those things, those elements can actually escape through the permeability of the gut community and going out into our bloodstream, leading to further inflammation throughout our body, which we call systemic inflammation. So what can cause our gut community to go out of balance? Well, one of the things is when we don't get enough sleep, when we don't get quality sleep, that's a big factor. Another one is when we take medications, even antacids. Yes, the medications that are supposed to suppress our stomach acid. Ooh, boy, that is not good. It suppresses stomach acid production, and we need adequate stomach acid production because then the bacteria that comes into our bodies through the food that we eat, through the beverages that we consume, it's supposed to kill off the excess that we don't need. So taking this medication will affect stomach acid production, and then we're not able to kill off the excess bacteria. So that can lead to an overgrowth of opportunistic bacteria. What else? Oh, let's see, antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, yes, and as well as birth control pills. Yes, unfortunately, that can also throw the gut out of balance. And of course, antibiotics. It was always antibiotics that we would know about, that we were told, oh, that really throws the gut out of balance. But it's just not that. It's also these other ones too. And I can't forget to mention that the GLP-1 agonists are also a classification of medications that can lead to us having an imbalanced gut community. What else? What else causes us to have an imbalanced gut community? Well, when we are not consuming enough plant foods. If we are not consuming a variety of different plant foods, if we don't have enough fiber in the foods that we eat, in the meals that we consume, that leads to an imbalanced gut community because our prebiotics, okay, those are found in your plant foods and they feed our good bacteria. And we also know many of them as probiotics. And we also call them probiotics as well from the food that we eat. So in order for the probiotics to thrive, we need prebiotics from plant foods. Okay, and then when we consume a lot of refined sugars, oh boy, that is really sad that can throw our gut community out of balance as well. And the big one is stress. When we have unmanaged stress all the time, that also is a big factor in our gut community going out of balance. That affects our ability to produce enough stomach acid production to kill off the excess bacteria. And then it also throws our gut community out of balance. So that's a really big one. And last but not least is when we are over-exercising, overtraining. I used to think that when I was training for half marathons and full marathons and doing the long runs, doing all the runs in between, I thought I was giving myself extra credit for good health. I didn't realize that I was putting my body in a state of excess inflammation and raising my stress hormone cortisol higher than it should. And I didn't realize that the excess running was also throwing my gut community out of balance. So for many years, I personally have experienced GI challenges as well as hormonal challenges, partly because my gut community was thrown out of balance. Yes, and I also had reflux for over a decade. I am just so grateful to God to be able to share with you that I don't have the horrendous reflux that I had before that would manifest itself in silent reflux. So I had that dry cough that once it started, it would last for months. Whew, boy, that's gone. I have not used any antacid medication since 2018. Praise the Lord. I thank God for guiding me in how to rebalance my gut community in the best way possible that He wants us to balance it in those ways, in His ways. And so it's important for us to know what the factors are, because when we know what these factors are that can contribute, then we can work around that and work specifically in helping rebalance our gut community. So if you need specific help with your own gut health and hormone health journey, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I love helping my clients in my Gut and Hormone Harmonizer program. And the thing is, it's not overnight that our gut health gets better or our hormone health. It takes time. And so it is so important to have that personalized guidance. But you see, God made us so that every system, every organ in our bodies are to work in harmony with each other. And when they are working in harmony with each other, then it can also help our metabolic health. And then in the long run, we can feel so good with such wonderful energy that we are able to serve God to the best of our abilities. We are able to serve our family members to the best of our abilities, as well as our community. Okay, friend, in all that we do, in all that we eat and drink, let us do it all for the glory of God.